Hi, welcome to this video. If you don't know me, my name's Layla and this is my birth story. So I ring up the midwife's department. I'll start on the birth book going, okay, breathe this baby down. I still have no idea. I can't poo in the bucket. You need to push now. Get this baby out now. So little one is sleeping. I thought now would be the perfect time to tell you, and hold on to your hats, it's a pretty wild ride. It doesn't start off too dramatic. It starts off actually so undramatic. Aside from the fact that I was 42 weeks along. I was due to be induced the day I gave birth. And so I kind of thought it was, wishful thinking. I didn't actually think I was in labour. Because when it started, I had the tiniest bit of backache, but at 42 weeks, that's kind of normal. Obviously, she was getting heavy, I was getting uncomfortable. Not finding a comfortable position was completely normal for me, so I don't actually know whether I'd been in labour and just hadn't noticed it up until this point. And I had had a false labour the week before, where I'd definitely had contractions. They were very uncomfortable. I was struggling to sit down. And I had that for about 2 hours, and then it just all of a sudden stopped. This time I was going, well, I don't want to get my hopes up, especially because I'm being induced tomorrow. What happens at this point. I was just saying to myself, I'm going to go with the flow no matter what happens. So around 10 o'clock, I start getting kind of like, when you've got an upset stomach? It sort of felt like that. So it wasn't anything how people had described contractions to me. It felt like a surge of your muscles. It wasn't like a tightening. It wasn't like period pain. This isn't what people have said labour feels like, so I can't be in labour. And then I do start getting what I think are contractions, but I'm still not certain, so I ring up the midwife's department. Say, hi. How do you know if you're in labour? Oh, you just know. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. I still have no idea. I don't know. So I'm sat there and I'm talking to George and I'm going, how do I know? He's saying, well, we'll just wait it out. If you are, and you haven't had her by the time we're meant to be in the hospital, we'll be in hospital anyway. So they'll tell you. And I was like, perfect. I'll just wait. It's pretty much what you'd do even if you were in labour anyway. And then not long later, I do get what I'm going, okay, these are definitely contractions. I start timing them. I've downloaded this app, and pretty much straight away it's like, okay, start packing your bags. It's time to think about leaving soon. What? No, it's not. These are still very manageable. And I've heard that people say, obviously, don't go into hospital until the latest point because you don't want to be there for hours. So I'm ignoring that. I do carry on timing them, and not long later, 3 minutes or 4 minutes apart, basically my app's like, go to the hospital now. I still feel alright. I'm going to ignore that again. And so at this point it's like 11 o'clock, nearly midnight, and I said to George, close your eyes, get some sleep, because if I am in labour, which I'm fairly certain at this point that I am, we're not getting much sleep in the future. I couldn't get comfortable. My contractions were very close together. Like they just came out of nowhere. It went from a tiny bit of a tummy ache to, oh my gosh, my contractions are very regular, every 3-4 minutes apart. But they weren't excruciating, they weren't anything like that. They were perfectly manageable. So I went downstairs, sat in front of the fire, popped on my Bridget Taylor, I think that's how you say her name, the Built to Birth podcast, which was brilliant. I go downstairs, I'm just doing my own thing, I'm still feeling alright. They're not getting any closer together, they're just getting a bit more intense. So a few hours later, about 3:30, I go and wake up George. I'm like, hey, just to let you know, they are getting a bit more intense. And George goes, okay, we need to go to the hospital now. So it's the next day, I'm back, little one is sleeping in the back again. So I'll continue where I left off. Basically, I realised because I've planned a home birth and then I changed my mind at 40 weeks, with obviously me being only 5'1", my partner being well over 6 foot, I was worried about the risks of shoulder dystocia, that sort of thing. So I thought, okay, now she's getting bigger. All she's been doing, obviously, the past 2 weeks is just growing, gaining weight, that sort of thing. And so I'm thinking, okay, best to be in the hospital just in case. Obviously, I know that if you do have a home birth, they can still deal with that there, but I just thought after that point it's better for me to be in the hospital just for peace of mind, that sort of thing. But I never really figured out what to do when you go to the hospital. So we went through the wrong entrance, so I will say. figure that out. Make sure you know where to go. So we go through the wrong entrance. I'm only 10 minutes away from the hospital. In that time I have 3 contractions, very uncomfortable, not having much fun. We get there. They say, okay, brilliant, you can stay, you're 4 centimetres dilated. So this is around 4 in the morning. So we go into the labour room and they say, would you like us to break your waters? And I'm thinking, I don't know. And so they talk me through, they're like, look, your contractions have slowed down since you got here. I think it's partly because you're scared. And I'm going, yeah, I'm kind of scared of the interventions, that sort of thing. You know, the whole reason I didn't want to go to hospital anyway. But they're saying, well, you know, you'd been induced in a few hours anyway. This is probably something we would have done. And they're saying it like that. And I'm going, okay, you know what, break the waters, it's fine. They break the waters and all of a sudden the intensity just cranks right up. And they're saying, okay, with your contractions, her heart rate is dipping, we need to continuously monitor, which is another thing I didn't want. And I was going, oh, okay. They're saying, can you stay on the bed? I'm going, it's incredibly uncomfortable for me on the bed. Standing, moving around, I'm all right, very manageable. Lying down, I'm not happy. So as soon as I can I get off the bed? I want to get off the bed. And they're saying, okay, we can monitor you. They put the strap around and I could move around. So I'm sitting on the birth ball, leaning over the bed, sitting on the birth ball, leaning over the bed. I'm moving constantly. I can't get into a comfortable position. My contractions now are about, oh my god, I think maybe a minute to 30 seconds apart. They're just constant. There is no release. I'm just sipping on my water, walking around. My waters are just going everywhere. I thought once your waters broke, that was it. Apparently they just keep on coming. And so they're chasing me around with puppy pads on the floor, so obviously I don't slip. And they're kind of going, will you stay in one spot? I won't. I'm sitting on the birth ball, I'm leaning over the bed. They're saying, would you like us to bring the bed up? No, I don't want you to change anything. I'm in the zone. I don't want to think about anything right now. And they come in about 7:30. They're like, here you go, here's your lunch order, just take it out whenever you want. And they come back in about 8 o'clock saying, oh, have you filled it in? I'm like, no, I don't care, tick anything. You know my allergies, I'm not fussy, tick whatever. And they're saying, oh, we just need you to pick your lunch order. I don't care. Give me anything, give me nothing. Not bothered right now. Not what I'm thinking about. And they're saying, just you know, take your lunch order, have a read through, see what you'd like. And I'm, George, can you just deal with this? Take whatever, I don't care. Make them go away. I feel like I'm getting a bit more diva-y. I'm going hot, I'm going cold. George is putting a wet paper towel on my back, which it's definitely helping. I had a flannel in my bag. I didn't think of telling him this. So as I say, we did not unpack anything other than my water bottle. And then I went really cold. I said, oh, George, can you pass me my cardigan? He passes it to me. I'm boiling. Throw it away. He's going, you've just asked. Okay. You've just asked for that, but okay. About 8:30, they've taken my lunch order. Thank God. And now there's really no gap between my contractions. They're very, very intense. And I'm just kind of in the zone. And they keep saying, oh, so I took 2 paracetamol before I left for the hospital. And they're saying, oh, would you like the injection? Would you like the actual? No, I don't want. No, use the gas now. I don't want it. I don't like it. Leave me alone. I want to do my thing. I want everybody to leave me alone. And so they pretty much do. And the lady says, oh, you haven't been to the toilet since you got here. Go do a wee. And when I first got there was protein in my urine, so they were saying, okay, can you wee in the bucket thing? I want to check it. I said, absolutely. And I go in, and I do a little bit of a wee, and I notice there's blood in there. I'm like, okay, that's, I think, normal. I'm like, well, I can just, ask when I go back in. And then I'm like, oh, I need to do a poo. I'm like, I can't poo in the bucket. So I'm taking it out and putting it on the floor. And I'm thinking, actually, I've seen one born every minute, and they say if you need to do a poo, you might be having the baby. So I go back across the hall, and I'm saying, I think I might need to push. They're saying, I don't think so. You're only 4 centimetres, a few hours ago. So what had that been? That'd been 4 hours. I'm going, I need to push, and they're like, probably not. This is your first baby. Things don't typically happen that quickly. And apparently, when I'd been in the toilet, they'd been saying to George, oh, if she's, 6 centimetres, 7 centimetres, we'd be really happy with that. That would be great progress. So she says, the monitor keeps getting kicked off. We're going to have to ask you to get back on the bed. We need to monitor her heart rate because it does keep dropping with your contractions. It's coming back up, but we want to keep an eye on this. We need to make sure it doesn't go too low. I said, oh, right, let me have one more contraction off the bed, then I'll hop on. And I get on the bed and I can't figure out how to turn around. I'm on my hands and knees facing this way, and they're like, just lie down. I'm like, I can't. I don't remember how to do that. And so I lie back and I'm trying to subtly push without her noticing. Going, oh, I don't want her to tell me off. I'll just do it without her noticing. Just pushing gently, hoping she won't notice. And she checks me. She goes, oh no, yeah, you're 10 centimeters. Let's push. Once I start pushing, my daughter's heart rate just keeps going down and down and down. And it's not coming back up. So I've been pushing for about 5 minutes. And apparently she turns to George and says, don't worry, I'm just going to press the emergency, a few people will come in, nothing to worry about. So all of a sudden I hear the alarm going off. There's, I think, 8 midwives in with me. I'm going, what? And they're saying, you need to push now, get this baby out now. I'm going, okay. And then I'm going, oh, I'm giving it everything I've got. And obviously I'm making a bit of noise at this point. I'm going, okay, I'll take the gas in air now. Didn't realise how far along I was. So everyone says, you know, there's this point where you think you can't do it. I didn't reach that point. And so I'm going, okay, I'll use the gas in air. I'm pretty much near the end now. This is, you know, the last stage. And so George is passing it to me. It's making me thirsty, so he's passing me my water. And I'm pushing with everything I've got. And they're saying, this baby needs to get out now. You're going to have to speed this. And it's been about another 5 minutes. So I've only been pushing for about 10 minutes at this point. And they're saying, push. And this one midwife turns around, shh, you're wasting your energy, stop making noise. I'm like, turning this way. I tear off my t-shirt. I'm thinking, you know, skin to skin immediately. And they give me an episiotomy. And again, I'm going, oh, a little bit painful. So I think they thought that I'd had some sort of pain relief beyond the gas and air, and I hadn't. So yeah, I felt that very clearly. I was like, ah, yep, felt the episiotomy, no worries, carry on. And they're saying, okay, we need to do ventouse. This baby is in severe distress. She needs to be born right now. Well, she needs to be born 5 minutes ago. So they put the ventouse on. That's on for less than a minute. She's born. So I think it's been, total of 12 minutes pushing. So I think everyone was only in for 8 minutes before she was born. They put her on my chest, but she doesn't cry immediately. And what I don't realise is I'm hemorrhaging. So I don't realise that I'm bleeding. I'm just going, okay, my daughter's alright. But they're going, she's not crying. Her feet and hands are blue, but 2 minutes later her APGAR score was, I think, 8 out of 9, so she was okay. She just took a second to adjust to being in the world, bless her. And they're going, oh, okay, let's do your stitches, and I'm going into shock. So I'm shaking and I'm going, oh, sorry, I know that obviously you're trying to do my stitches and I'm trying to stay as still as possible. And she's going, yeah, you're going into shock, it's fine. I'm like, okay. And I've still got midwives all at the end of the bed. There's a few people that have left now, so I think there's about 4 or 5 midwives in with me. And they're all talking and they're going, we don't know why you're bleeding. We're trying to stop this bleeding. We don't know why you are. So they're giving me injections. Placenta came out. Honestly, placenta barely even noticed it. It was like a little jelly thing. Yeah, I'm bleeding. I think they said I lost 1.8 litres of blood. Obviously I couldn't really feel it. It was all damp down there anyway. So I couldn't really tell how much I was bleeding, but I could tell that they were concerned about how much I was bleeding. Because they're all literally stood at the end of the bed, like staring at me, going. So they gave me injections, they gave me some medication, they said, can you do a wee? I couldn't remember how. And eventually the bleeding did stop. That's the actual birth. And so, little one, she's doing alright. They're saying, okay, your bleeding stopped. They put me on a drip. She was born at 9 o'clock, so that was, let me do some maths here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5 hours after I got there. So 5 hours from being 4 centimetres dilated to actually having her. Gonna carry on driving. See you in a bit. So all in all, from my first little niggle to actually holding my baby was less than 11 hours, which, especially for your first labour, is pretty insane and a lot faster than I expected. which I am glad about. I was worried about, you know, how long things might take. And that's pretty much everything. Obviously then I had to heal and that sort of thing. I did have a pretty large clot the next day, but that's about it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another video.